Welcome amongst us, Mr. Rahul Ramchandani. Mr. Ramchandani is an MBA graduate from SP Jain Institute of Management and Research, Mumbai, with a computer science engineering background. He has worked in various cross-functional stints like business strategy, sales and marketing, software design and development at Tech Mahindra and eBay. He currently looks after interim marketing at Bharti Airtel, leading telecommunication company. Looking beyond his professional feats, Mr. Ramchandani is a passionate traveler and sportsman with interests in squash, swimming, badminton, adventure sports, trekking, and pretty much everything to do with technology. He has participated and won many national and international business plan competitions. One such plan was featured on CNN Money as one of the 6 ideas for changing the world. With such an extensive list of achievements, I'm sure each one of us is eagerly waiting to interact and get a glimpse into his life.
Thank you so much. That was a very generous introduction. Alright, so I look after internet marketing at Airtel, and there's this vertical on digital that was being formed 2 years ago, and I was given the opportunity of heading it, and I was before that in a very offline product kind of role, the regular MBA role. And when I moved, so I was obviously very happy and excited about the prospect of working in digital, working with a company which obviously has large media budgets but doesn't do much on digital, so really revamping the entire digital experience. And so I was very excited. I told my friends about it, and so all of them would say that digital. Why would you want to do digital? It's not a place where top MBAs go. It's what agencies are there for. So you have creative agencies, you have media agencies. Why would an MBA want to get into digital? Now it's a little unfortunate because we all know that digital is going to be the next big thing. Most of us, if not all, are users of digital. Now, whether it's social networking or generally being available and relying on the net for everything. So whether it's our research or whatever, all of us, I don't think we can stay without being connected. And that's a tragic part. We know that it's the next big thing. But so the first thing I asked Podium when you guys invited me was, is there a course on digital? And unfortunately, just like any other preschool, most preschools, there's not much, that we learn on digital. In spite of the fact that it really will change the 4 P's of marketing as we know it. Kotler's marketing that we read so much about, all our case studies, it's all going to change. It's changing. Everything is changing. I think you all would be able to see that. In India right now, we still look at digital as mostly a communication strategy, advertising strategy. But how do you really bring digital into the product design at that stage? That's where we should aspire to be. So as young managers just stepping into corporate India, we have to look at digital not just as a communication strategy, but into the design of the product. So let's start with I'll start with the case study. So back in school, I think case studies where we all bring it with. So let's start. How many of you have heard of Nike Plus as a product? So a handful. Now this product was launched by Nike 8 years back. Okay, so 8 years ago, Nike launched a product and stepped itself away from being an apparel brand. Last year, they launched something called as Nike Fuel.
Inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. They've done this in the past by making great products and then telling people about them. 7 years ago, with the launch of Nike Plus, they started a journey that has taken them from being a company that makes shoes and apparel to a products and services company. Nike Plus has grown to 6 million active members using it on average 3 times a week. But now it's about to get even bigger. This year, with the launch of Nike Plus Fuel Band, a metric that measures all activity called Nike Fuel, ties all these products and services together into a connected ecosystem. Like calories, Nike Fuel is a way to gauge your daily activity. But unlike calories, which people burn at different rates depending upon body type, Nike Fuel is the only standard that lets you compare yourself with anyone else, no matter who they are or what they're doing. Walk, run, dance, skateboard, play basketball, it all counts. Nike Fuel Band is the device you wear that tracks everything you do. One button lets you check your fuel, calories, steps.
Sorry for that, I think somebody didn't start.
When you consistently hit your goal, Fuelie helps you celebrate.
The social part is actually what keeps it really sticky. It's kind of that competition that keeps you coming back. Anyone who you're friends with on Facebook will be in your leaderboard.
When you buy a Fuel Band, you automatically become part of the Nike Plus community, which includes Nike Plus running, training, and basketball. Now the Nike Plus platform is set to grow exponentially with more members who are active every day.
When it came time to launch the product, we came up with one word that summarized it all: counts. Can you count, sucker?
Everything you do counts. That became the basis for the campaign introducing Nike Fuel to the world. Consumer demand was so high, pre-orders sold out within minutes.
What I hope we can see in the metrics is that people have become more active through wearing their Fuel Bands. That for me would be the ultimate measure of our success.
Fuel Band is transforming how we measure performance, and it represents a new mission for Nike as an organization, creating products and services that become a part of people's everyday lives, with motivation built in. It's a commitment we've seen evolve over 2 years of collaborating with Nike on the Fuel experience. From the fuel metric itself, to the mobile and platform integration, to social engagements, and ultimately the launch of the Fuel Band. This puts Nike in an exclusive family of fast-growing companies that have created functionally integrated systems.
Today's announcement is exciting. Anything to get people moving, being able to compare my scores with everybody else is really cool.
Nike has a saying, if you have a body, you are an athlete, and now this is finally coming true.
So of course, this is where we should finally reach. How do you really bring digital into the core design of a product? This of course depend. So Nike's gone a step further. Last month, they called 10 fledgling, startups to develop apps on this data, because you imagine the wealth of information you have. You have data on how your product is being used on a real-time basis. So Nike is now sponsoring guys. They've called them, they invited them, they pay them $20,000 each, and they said, okay, you develop apps on this. So it's entrepreneurship, plus it's innovation, and it's all fueling, it's working for Nike. Now, one might argue, why would I want to share data? It's my life. Why should anyone, any corporate get its hand over this data? So I'm not sure if the picture is very clear or not. I'm not even sure if you. So any guesses who this guy is? Sorry? No. So it's Naveen. This guy is the founder of Foursquare, and Foursquare is the it's a location. It's a very popular, probably the most popular location-based social networking app. So what this guy has done is, whatever he does in his life, he's exposed it through an API. So the amount of time he sleeps, his steps, his weight, where he goes, what places he checks in, anything. So it's a social experiment, and it's big. So he's saying, okay, here's my, and this guy's very popular. He's one of those thought leaders in this space. So he's done that. People are willing to share information, and whether you like it or not, you guys, all of whatever you do online is being tracked. Now, not many people know about this. You know that, okay, some websites like Google would probably know where you're going and all because you signed in, or if you sign in on Facebook, it's logical that they might see where you're going. But forget about these large networks. There are lots of these small ad networks or advertising networks that track everything that you do on the web. So there are very few sites, like, so this is a screenshot of an economist. Economist is of course very high on ethical standards. So they display a small message here which says that this site uses cookies, you may review our policy. When you go there, you will figure out that there's so much that they may be tracking. This message only comes the first time, and then because it assumes that the next time you come, you will know about it. Sites like UI and all in India do not do it at all, but they do track a lot, an awful lot of information about you. And if you don't believe me still, what you could do is log out of this URL. I just put this URL. You may want to note it because even though it's a very simple URL, google.com/settings./ads, it's very difficult to reach this URL. So even if you are on Google and you keep talking about, are you tracking me and all of that, they will never, so it's like hidden somewhere. And what it does is, it's going to tell you about all the information that Google has on you. So Google, of course, is a large company, they need to be able to give you this information, but there are all these ad networks which don't. And it will also, so for example, for my profile, it goes into the interest levels. So what is it that it categorizes? What are the areas that I've been interested in? So this is dependent on what I've been searching on Google. This is also dependent on what the kind of sites that I've been looking at and all of that. So even if I'm not searching on Google, depending on which sites I go to and frequent, it's going to categorize. So these are the interest areas for me. It also tells you, okay, so it'll give you a kind of an indication about how much time you spend at home, how much time you spend in office and things like that. So very intrusive, you know. They not just know about you, what you do, they also know which are the places you go to. So they'll also tell you the number of flights you've taken in the last few days, things like that. Okay, so there is a lot that happens on the internet. This is all the information this is all that happens on the net, right? I don't want, it's a nice infographic. All of this is being tracked. A lot of your information is in there. The question is, how are you going to work on this data for your benefit? And as managers, when you get into whichever role you take now, so if it's a sales role or a product role, you will find that digital is playing a role in the kind of work that you do. So what I'm going to do is, obviously time is less, so I cannot get into the strategic part of digital as to how does it really help in designing the product or the strategy or the overall growth plan for the company. I will take you through some of the basics on digital marketing because I think these are something that it's a stepping stone. It's the least that we should know. So let's start with Google, and I don't want to take Airtel as an example. So I want to take the travel industry in India is fairly mature as far as digital is concerned because they rely on online to get a lot of their leads, to get a lot of the sales. So travel is one industry, banking is another, but banking does not advertise as much. So let's say if I search for the Taj Palace Hotel in Delhi. Now what you see on the search results, there's a lot that goes into it, okay? And how do you really optimize what you see on search? There's something called as SEO, which is search engine optimization, which is to ensure that what you're searching for appears right on top. So what you see out here, this, as well as the kind of pictures that you may want, plus the map. So in one screen, this all has been done by the hotel. They've actually gone to the extent that, so you may need the address, you may need the phone number, you may need the directions. You can click on the Google map, and wherever you are, you can just get directions from there. Plus, okay, so that's what is in your control. What is not in your control is SEM, search engine marketing. So this is how Google makes money. So you spend for the ad, and you see a lot of ads that come on the top, that come on the right, that come on the bottom. So that's all SEM. You also have to figure out as a brand, you've got to do online reputation management, that's ORM. So the kind of reviews that you see here. So of course out here you have 4.5, almost 4.4. But if the rating is bad, chances are you probably will not proceed. Out here itself. So how do you do that? Then there's social media. So this is what Google is telling you. Plus it's also saying that, okay, for more information, go on Foursquare, get more details, go on TripAdvisor. So all the various social networks. How do you ensure that you have a favorable presence there? So it's becoming a science now. And as you go down, you'll also be able to track your competition. And so these are the broad list of activities. At any level, if you think that there's something that you want to talk about or discuss, please, we don't have to wait till the end of the session. So, let's keep it interactive in that sense. Now, the one that comes for free is what I just mentioned, search engine optimization. There is now, so it's a slightly more controversial area as well, because now what's happening is we know that Google Plus will not work for Google as much as, let's say, Facebook or Twitter is in the social area. So we see that what you do on Google Plus has an effect on your search results. And the lines are getting blurred, so this is an Airtel example. What we've done is we've ensured that when you search for broadband, all the links that you see here are all Airtel links, because we don't want these links to go to Ticona or to Reliance or anywhere else. But so what does Ticona do? They just go and buy the ad on top. And they're paying top dollars for it, because when you bid on competition keywords, you pay much more, because Airtel is a brand that we own. So let's say if I'm paying $5 per click, Ticona might pay 20 or 25. But they still want it. So they bought the ad on top, and if you see, now all of this is light yellow, and this is white, that line is getting blurred the last few months. And this is something that Google is doing deliberately. And we've spoken to them as well, because it affects us directly, as it does with all pages of brand. But if you don't look at it from straight, you will not be able to differentiate between what's a paid ad and what's an organic listing. And of course, there's this thing about, yeah. So they want to make money. Do no evil is actually not do no evil. So if you see, Google had this famous thing, do no evil, right? Lately they've not been using it, because they've been doing, so search advertising constitutes 80% of their revenues, right? And along with display, so display is also very big. And if you're not using, so what has happened is SEO, everyone knows that SEO is a way to get on top, and it's the most effective way. So let's say, if you've been coming to the one particular site and then you've been transacting or doing something, so Google knows that, because they have good algorithms, they know that he's found what he's looking for. Websites have now understood that. So they've got themselves very well optimized. Now, if all websites start optimizing themselves well, who's going to pay for the ads?
No, besides optimization, it's also about clicks, right? How many times you visit the page also. Right?
Absolutely.
So, even if over here the Ticona was an ad,
yeah.
But the Airtel was actually a search itself, right?
Sure.
So why are they trying to blur the line?
Yeah, so of course, so now so they are blurring the lines across. Okay. So what happens is they want you to advertise even if you're on top. So for example, type Facebook. Just go and type Facebook. You'll always find Facebook on top, but you'll also find an ad from Facebook. And so when we ask them these questions, they say that around 40% of clicks are lost if you don't have the top position. Okay, so they have research, and in fact, if you want, I can just forward some research that I got from them. It's very quantifiable kind of a research. Some PhD at Google, they've sponsored it, so they've got it done. And so they claim that you've got to have the top spot, and so you are obviously a more educated and person. You can discern between what's an ad and what's not an ad. But most people cannot. But I don't know. Have I answered the question adequately enough, or is it something else you're looking for?
No. So there's a basic difference between the two, right? It's a search and an ad.
Most people don't know that.
No, that's what. If you are searching for broadband,
Yeah.
more often people are expecting the result of an Airtel than the ad of a Ticona.
And yet you're usurping it. So you are actually taking dominance over the Airtel brand. So people would expect Airtel, but the Ticona guy is still paying for it because he wants to sell his broadband. So even if you if you looked at the search query, the search query was Airtel broadband. Okay, so the guy is specifically looking for Airtel broadband, right? And yet you're taking over it. So that's how you work on competition. So for example, we also do it. So let's say guys who are looking for Tata Sky, when you search for Tata Sky, you will see an Airtel DTH ad. So that's a way to also, for us, for brands, it is a way to acquire customers who may go to competition. For Google, it's a way of making money. Is that clear? Okay, cool. So, any idea what GLTD is? It's a new concept. And it's actually there for the last 2 years, but somehow it's not got popular in India. No, okay, so GLTD stands for Global Top Level Domain. And what's going to happen in the next 1 year is that the .coms and the .edus that we've known, that we've got used to, but there are a lot of these venture-funded or PE-funded companies that's trying on how do you get these dot. And how does it work? So let's say if I have dot hotel, okay, if I own it, anybody, so the way we expect people to change the way they search online. So what will happen is, let's say if I'm interested in Shillong, I might just type Shillong.hotel. It's not knowing, okay, which hotel to go for, which brand is present here. Or if I'm interested in, let's say, the Taj Hotel, I'll say Taj.hotel. Okay, so whoever owns the hotel domain name suddenly can get a lot of business from networks and hotels and all that. So this really will change the way we search online. Display marketing is those ads that you see everywhere. And mostly it's spray and pray. So there's not much of ROI. You just go on showing ads and you hope that the guy will click on them. So when I was browsing one of those, there's one EA site, and now wherever I go I see this banners. So there's so much, it's overdone. Not so much so that when I'm watching a video on YouTube, I'll still see. But this is also how we are connecting different mediums. So across the web, they know where they'll go on showing you those ads because they know you've seen it in the past, you've probably expressed an interest. I probably went to the buying section, I probably checked out the prices, looked at comparison. So the guy knows that, okay, this is a guy who may be interested. So he's tracking me wherever I go and he puts those ads. And whatever I watch, he'll put an ad, like that, you know. If you've ever done a search for an airfare or something on Cleartrip or Make My Trip or any of these sites, you'll find that they customize. So if I'm searching for Delhi to Pune, wherever I go, I'll find these ads coming. And this is something that this is the concept called remarketing, basically. You remarket to guys you think may be interested. A smarter way to do it is what hotels.com has done. So it's just not showing you, it's actually giving you the prices also. So in one banner, you will see the prices for 3 or 4 and this keeps rotating. So if you're interested, you click on it, you directly go there, you basically are reducing the number of clicks. You don't have to go and search again. So if you go there, it will put those fields automatically, it will put the dates, and with one click you can go and buy. So this is how advertising, this is where advertising is heading, basically. So you are making it extremely targeted, extremely customized. So some of branding that Airtel has done with Airtel Money as a product, accept Airtel Money as a currency on a lot of these sites. So when we did it, on eBay, we basically took over that eBay site. So wherever you would go, you would see this option that okay, you can pay using Airtel Money and get 10% off. We did it across other shopping portals when we.
So my name is Nina. So my question is, why would reducing clicks be beneficial? Because actually, if you do not give the price already, then I might be curious enough to click, and then I might see other things that you're trying to promote on your site. So, I'm wondering why.
So what has happened is, now what we see is that the patience level of a guy online is much lesser. So and they're like, so there are lots of sites that let you compare prices, and so you don't want to hide things away from the customer. So, okay, so let's say we've seen, and this is not something Airtel has done because we don't run a shopping cart, but a lot of these sites, shopping sites, e-commerce sites, who do not display shipping information. Right? So they say that this is how much it costs. And then they say that, okay, you proceed, check out, and then you will receive depending on where you are, what you've ordered, all of that. You will find that that model existed 3 years back. But now, most companies tell you the shipping price there. They don't want you to go the extra step. They want to give you all the information there itself. Because what is happening is time is now, so most people who transact online don't have enough time. So they want to do things in a hurry. You are always multitasking. You have one window which is Facebook, you have a messenger on, you have Skype on, things like that. And you're just you're browsing through websites, you want everything in one piece. You don't want to go to the next step. So this is also an insight that so when we developed an application called My Airtel app, what we do is when you launch the app, 80% of what a user does is on the first screen, so he doesn't have to click. We are giving you what you want there itself. Now, so this is the kind of stuff that you can do. So we have something called as Hero Tunes, which is a lot of you would be having caller impact tune services, right? What we did was, so we launched Hello Tunes online, and we have a huge database of 6 lakh songs. So whenever you're searching, so we went a long day. We actually made 15, so we built ads, and so we actually built out 15 million keywords. So that's a scale that you can take digitally. Now imagine in offline, you never could target 15 million keywords. So which include anything that you sing. So you may be interested in a very old Malayalam song, classical or whatever. You'll find it, if you are searching for it, you'll still find it here. So these are the kind of things that you can do on digital. The next area is of course, this is an emerging area, which is RTV real-time bidding. And this is a scary area as well, because this allows you to buy ads in real time. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, you bought, so let's say you are an Airtel customer and you bought a phone on one of the participating e-commerce sites. For example, let's take Flipkart. You just bought the phone because they have an alliance with us, and this is a hypothetical case. We come to know that, okay, this guy just bought a 3G phone. Okay? After that, you are, let's say, on a tech forum, and this is within 2 minutes. You bought the phone, and in 2 minutes you go to a tech forum. We know that this guy has bought a phone. In real time, we'll take a call. So we know that this guy has just spent 50,000 bucks on an iPhone. So obviously he's a high net customer. We'll check whether he's on Airtel or not. If he's on Airtel, we'll check whether he's on 3G or not. If he's not on 3G, we'll show him a 3G ad. Then, oh, you bought a phone, get a 3G connection. Okay, and because in real time, because I've assessed the value of the customer, I know that this is a high net guy, he's bought an iPhone, he's spent 50,000 bucks online. To show an ad to this guy, I don't mind even paying 100 bucks for that ad. And I otherwise would pay, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 bucks. That real time decision is something that the entire RTV and programmatic experience is all about. It's essentially target to a segment of one. So it's going to be different for you, me, it's going to be different for you, it's going to be different. That's where we are heading, by the way. And this is still an evolving area. Affiliate marketing is the other step. The area essentially you go for deals which are extremely ROI driven. So I go and talk to a publisher and say that, okay, I want 1,000 downloads, how much will you charge? And with that it's okay, I'll charge 30 bucks per download, and that's all. Okay. So this is something we did with Ghana.com. While you're listening to music, let's say whichever song you're listening to, that song will come as a dynamic banner here. You click on set it now, and a pop-up will come. It will ask you for mobile number. You enter your mobile number there, and you make the transaction there itself. You're not keeping it around. And we did a lot of branding on it also. So it's like, you see, it's almost like taken over by Airtel. If you do a right click, you'll find the Airtel offer. This is of course not there now. This was done around a year ago. But this is an example of affiliate networking. How do you do extremely contextual and relevant advertising? Where the guy is, so what he's consuming content there, go and give it there and charge him for it. And he'll pay. So if he's listening to a song, he knows how it will sound on the mobile. And so yeah. Okay, social media strategy, it's something that everyone talks about. It's a double-edged sword. You can't be too pushy, you can't talk too much about e-commerce making money. So you've got to, it's a very delicate balance. Do not ever go for number of followers or fans, because that's something that everyone talks about. Oh, I have 16 million fans on Facebook. You can actually get, so there are companies in India which will give you a fan for $2, $3. They have packages starting at 5,000 bucks. So if you start your own fan page, you can actually get 1,000 fans in no time. So what is more important is how do you engage with the audience? How do you do sentiment analysis and things like that? Okay, so with that, who's heard of this? This was a few years ago. Quite a few people, right? Okay, so what is it about?
Yeah, so it was a case study. I read it in our case session.
Yeah.
So basically, there was this guy who was traveling from. He was a. So he was a. Yeah, he was a band member.
Yeah.
He was traveling through this one of the airlines there.
Yeah.
Southwest Airlines.
United big guitar.
Yeah, United Airlines. So his guitar got broke during
Yes.
one of the like he was going from Canada to.
Oh, you know the case quite well.
Yeah.
Great.
So then he told the customer relation about this, but the response from them was very. It came after a long time, almost took 6 months, and then this guy told them that if you don't solve this issue, I'll make 3 videos and I'll post it online. But then these people didn't take notice of that as well. But then when he made the video and it got very popular, then these people came back to him saying that okay, we want to fix this and things like that. So it really became very big.
So that's what social media is all about. Actually, think about it. You're absolutely right. I don't have to go through it. It's got 13 million visits right now. In the first 3 days, it got 3 million views. The stock price of United Airlines had gone down by 10% in 4 days. So causing a loss of around $180 million to shareholders. So you can't ignore, such things. I don't know. So for the benefit of this, I will just play for a minute only because we don't have too much time. So you know what I'm talking about. And this is. It's all there on YouTube. So this guy became popular. He did after an out he said, he did follow up 6 months. The airline did not wake up to the call. He went and launched 2 videos. Then he wrote a book, that book, a bestseller. He also started his own startup about how do you manage customers. These are kind of things you can do. He's a guitarist. Look what he's done. So this is in conclusion. I would urge you all are consumers of digital. Now, how do you really make it the DNA of whatever you do? It is going to be important, and it is going to be the next thing. Not so much in India, but we are getting there. And performance marketing is the essence of digital, which is to have marketing which is extremely ROI driven. So you measure everything that you do. And at Airtel, this is what we've done in the last 2 years that we formed this division. And we are now, in terms of traffic, larger than 3 of our large competitors combined. And we are the largest non-travel e-commerce website in the country. So we are 5 times the size of Flipkart. So all this growth has come largely on that of performance marketing. So that I'll conclude my part. So whatever you guys want to talk about, we can talk about now here, or we
2 or
can
3 questions.
take it to Twitter. A lot of questions, yeah.
For the Ghana.com.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, can you actually please share the statistics for that? How much of the present customer base actually go and uses that? And
so I'll tell you what, Ghana gets around 3 million visits in a month. Okay, so we were getting, when we launched the service, we got around 1,000 downloads per day. And that figure after around 3 weeks came down to 300. And then after a month, it came out to 100 per day. So 100 per day would download those songs. Now the number actually came down, but so because it's a saturated medium, so when I say that they get 3 million visits in a month, a lot of them are repeat users. So if you are used to Ghana, you go there. If you are used to Savan, mostly you will go to Savan.com. Right? So a lot of them are repeat users. This is why we saw initially it was 1,000. per day, and then it came down to 100. And now, when it came down to 100, it wasn't making sense to enter. So we discontinued. So we ran it for around 3 months. We've given them a commitment that we'll run at least for 3 months. So even if we see a dip in numbers, because they invested a lot in technology. So how do you integrate it? So look at the, so this is just not banner advertising. This is actually integration. You will only show the Airtel banner for a song which is there in our database. So when you're singing, when you're playing a song, it's going to check on the back end whether the song exists in the database.
Yeah, that's what my intent is to ask. That with the social media, this is the most common problem. You get bored after some point, and the usability or even the functionality goes down. So, can you actually suggest something? What can be done to maintain that interest in that site or a particular functionality which you have online?
So again, there's no one shoe that fits all kind of strategy, right? It all will vary on, it will depend on your product, it will depend on your service. It could vary from a loyalty program that you could have. It could also be based on a referral program that you may have. But essentially, you must have something for the guy to keep coming back to. Like there's a lot of clutter in the market. So So what you could do is, if you have a specific case in mind, we can discuss that. But there's no one thing that will fit all. I think there's no one strategy that will work for it and which will work flawlessly with every initiative. Something in the back here.
Sir, I'm Rahul. My question is, how do you gauge the effectiveness of digital marketing? As you mentioned that number of followers is not the appropriate metric. So are there any metrics that are currently in place, or what else can be used to?
Sure, that's a very good question. So it varies from platform to platform. Okay. So I told you that there are different areas of digital marketing. Okay. So when let's say if you're doing on search, okay. So first you have to look at the objective of the campaign that you're running. Is it about brand building, or is it about a transaction that you want to see? Okay. So when it's about search, you will pay on a CPC model, a cost per click model. So for every click that happens of the ad, you will pay some amount of Google. Now, how do you look at ROI? You don't look at the number of clicks that are happening. You actually tie it up with the final transactions that are happening. Okay. So to give you an example, if you type prepaid recharge, let's say you want to recharge your mobile online, right? If you type prepaid recharge, you will find a dozen guys on the website, on search. You'll find Podium, you'll find Recharge It Now, you'll also find whichever service provider you're using, whether it's Docomo or Airtel or Idea or whatever. All of them will advertise. Okay. Now, the idea is you'll have to measure the end-to-end result. So I will not just look at how many people clicked on it, but how many people after clicking transacted, and that can be stitched. Okay. So to give you figures. We spend anywhere, on a recharge category, we spend anywhere between $2 to $10 per click. But our conversion after that is 25%. Because the guy he had a higher purchase intention. He searched for, so we again look at what is he searching for. Let's say he's searching for Airtel recharge. The guy is specifically looking for Airtel recharge, unless something goes drastically wrong, he will not recharge. So we will show you that, we'll pay a little more for the ad, and we'll measure the outcome. So we know that 25% of that transacts, so we know that the campaign has cost us $40 per recharge. So let's say we pay $10 for an ad and he charges 1 in 4 recharge, $40 for the effectiveness. That's the ROI and search. Similarly, it goes for display. So display is based on a CPM model, a cost per impression model. Okay, alright. Can you hear me now? So there is a CPC model for search, there is a CPM model for display. On social media, there's something called as engagement. So when you're using Facebook, in Facebook insights, there's a metric that is about engagement. How many people comment on it? How many of your friends have seen it? How many of your friends have liked it? How many people are talking about it at that point? So in performance marketing, you look at the end transaction and you look at, so for every campaign, you'll be able to say, okay, this is the final amount that I've paid for that. Okay, so you can stitch right from the ad that is shown to final transaction. That all is traceable. So every campaign actually has an ROI associated with it. You would know, that, let's say if I'm spending 10 lakh rupees, it is giving me 1 crore of business. So it's 10% of the cost. That kind of traceability otherwise can only happen in digital mode. Anything else you want to follow? Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing about going towards the digital marketing and advertising as well. If I compare the Domino's Pizza, they encourage online purchase of it, online delivery, and they prefer they give 25% extra discount or whatever. They actually want the people to go towards the online order.
Sure.
There I can understand it's about the place that is important or. But over here, if I go for recharge for outside to a guy and do it recharge, and if I recharge it online, the consumer is not getting the advantage. The same service charge is applied over here and here. Why can't people are not encouraged towards digital marketing in this particular case?
Okay, so that's a good question. And see, the cost part of it varies from business to business. So Domino's will save on the sales call, and Domino's will be able to give you a more consistent user experience on the web. As far as, let's say, a service brand like Airtel is concerned, now what do we save on? We save on 4% of commission that we pay to the recharge guy. So when you go to a retailer or a kirana store and recharge your Airtel mobile, I'll pay 4%. That's a cost that I save when I take it online. So my saving is 4%. And telecom is it's a very competitive environment. Okay? Now, if I'm giving you, at max I'll give you 110 or 100 rupees, but not more than that. Because the profit margins are very small here. I will not be able to give a discount. However, what I can do is I can give you a better experience. So instead of going to a retailer, and let's say if it's raining, you will have to obviously walk down wherever you can otherwise do it there. So I also know that this is a matter of convenience for the customer. So in that case, I will not. So there are areas where we give a discount to nearby, but there are places where we don't do it. We abstain from it, but going the cost will not give us that luxury of subsidizing.
On behalf of the entire Amshanoff fraternity, we would like to thank Mr. Rahul Ramchandani for being a part of Podium Season 2 and sharing his insights on the world of internet marketing. Due to the time constraints, we couldn't ask a lot of questions, but I'm sure that we've learned a lot about different aspects of digital marketing, like affiliate marketing, performance marketing, and we all know how targeting is done, especially in this kind of. So, thanks again, Mr. Rahul.